Hi friends, welcome back. So in this video, I will be discussing about all the interview questions related to smoke testing. So I will be discussing some of the important interview questions related to smoke testing. So let's go by one. The first question is, what is smoke testing? The smoke testing is again a kind of a testing, software testing, which normally we done in the preliminary stages of testing phase that ensure the critical functionalities of software which we are building are working as expected or as intended. That is the main purpose of doing smoke testing, and its main objective or aim is to identify the major issues, critical issues early in the testing process. That is the key purpose of smoke testing. The next question is, can you provide an example of critical functionality in a web application that should be included in a smoke test? That is the real and practical interview question. The critical functionality could be the user authentication in the web application. That is very important. That is the first critical functionality in the web application, where in a web application, user should be able to log in successfully is an essential functionality must be available in the web application, and our smoke testing should be able to verify that functionality. That is a simple example for critical functionality in the web application. And the next question is, how is the smoke testing is different from sanity testing? So what are the key things which differentiate smoke testing versus sanity testing? The key difference between smoke and sanity is, as we discussed, smoke testing we are going to test the basic functionality and critical functionality as part of smoke testing, while sanity testing we are more focusing on the specific functionalities or components after changes are being made. That is a key thing for the differences between smoke and sanity. And if you gain an example, after a bug fixes, sanity testing we are more validating on the affected area. And the next question is, explain the concept of build verification testing in contrast to the smoke testing. Build verification testing is also another form of smoke testing that confirm whether the particular build is stable enough for further testing. That is also one form of smoke testing. In this build verification testing, we will be doing the tests to ensure the build is reliable for the testing. The next question is, when should smoke testing to be performed in the software development life cycle? The smoke testing is typically performed after the new build is deployed and before the more extensive testing is being performed in further testing phases. That is when we are going to use smoke testing in software life cycle, and it is acts as a gatekeeper to prevent issues from progressing further in the testing process. It is trying to catch up any critical issues before we are taking further testing in smoke testing. And the next question is, what would you do if smoke test fails? If smoke test fails, it indicates the critical issue in the application. The build should not proceed to additional testing until the problem is identified and resolved by the development team. That is the thing if smoke testing fails, and this guarantees that the testing efforts can be saved and testing effort can be focused on other stable features. And what factors influence the decision on what test to include in smoke testing? This is very important and crucial interview questions. What are the factors we normally consider when we are adding the test to smoke testing? The test in smoke testing should cover the most critical functionalities. That is a key. If you take an example of e-commerce web application, Here the main critical functionalities are login. After logging, I should be able to do a shopping cart and proceed to checkout, and I should be able to make essential purchases by following login, then adding to shopping cart and checking out and making a payment. This is some key critical functionality. That is when we have to add the very important basic test cases that guarantees these basic functionalities are really working, critical functionalities are really working as expected. And how does smoke testing contribute to continuous integration and continuous deployment environment? In continuous integration or continuous deployment, smoke testings are automated and integrated into the deployment pipeline. Basically, the smoke tests are normally which are automated, as and when there is a change in the build, these scripts will automatically execute. Basically, the smoke testing will be more ideal for bringing into the automation bucket. And this ensures that each build is quickly validated and maintaining a reliable and stable code base. Can you share an example from your experience where smoke testing really helped in identifying the critical issues early in the development? So we have just taken earlier as well as e-commerce application. So where e-commerce application, where developers have added a new features that allows user to add items to their shopping cart and proceed to checkout. The development team is excited to release this feature to the testing team for further validations. The smoke testings, the launch the application, navigation, add to cart, checkout. Here, while performing the smoke testing, the critical issues has been identified. When user trying to add an item to the shopping cart, the application crashes and error message is displayed. Now, if application is getting crashed while doing shopping cart, that means this basic fundamental functionality of an e-commerce application is failing. That means it is a severe issue in the application that bill has to be returned back to the development for fixing these critical issues. That is a key as part of this smoke testing. That is the experience you can explain by taking some of your examples where you have worked upon. And the next one is, what are the important smoke testing in this scenario? The scenario is early detection. Since smoke testing is conducted at the beginning of the testing phase, the critical issues is identified early in the development cycle. And the next one is time and resource saving. Without smoke testing, the team might have invested significant time in detailing test only to find out later that basic functionality is completely broken. The smoke testing prevents unnecessary efforts on unstable builds. The next one is focus on stability. The focus on stability is nothing but smoke testing ensures that the core functionalities are stable before making extensive testing such as regression or any other testing in that matter. And the next one is it facilitates the quick feedback, because as and when we encounter the critical issues in the beginning of the testing itself, that means it saves a lot of additional testing efforts which is unnecessarily we are putting when we are finding critical issues. And the next one is, how do you ensure that smoke testing remains relevant as the software evolves on day-to-day basis? Regularly, we should review our smoke test suite and update those smoke tests also appropriately when there is a changes in the software. That is how we are going to evaluate smoke testings. And if for example, if new features are added, ensuring that corresponding smoke tests are included to validate their functionalities as well. And the next one is explain the relationship between smoke testing versus regression testing. Smoke testing is a subset of regression testing. While smoke testing focuses on basic functionality, regression testing ensures the new changes do not introduce defect to the existing functionalities. And the next one is, how does risk analysis plays a role in the smoke testing suite? This is a very important and critical interview question. Risk analysis we must do in order to identify the critical functionality that are prone to issues. We have to perform the risk analysis. For instance, in financial application, risk analysis might prioritize the smoke test for transactions, ensuring the system financially is accurate.